are just a week away from playoff football, and the Dallas Cowboys have a chance to write their own destiny. They're heading out to Washington on Sunday in Week 18 for a chance to grab the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs and to clinch the NFC East title. You gotta love that. Welcome into Cowboys Rewind. I'm Nicole Hutchison. Just to think about it, there were concerns about whether or not this Cowboys team would be good enough to win the division. Now they're in the perfect position after beating Detroit, and Philly's lost to Arizona in Week 17. Now they've just got to go out and seal the deal in FedEx Field. It's a similar position as last season, except they went into Week 18 with an outside chance of grabbing the division, but lost to the Commanders 26-6. Well, this week, the players made it clear they don't plan on letting this opportunity slip away again.
Yeah, we got an opportunity to win the division and go out there and make a statement win and get ready for playoffs.
Were you watching the game? Was it a little unexpected how it came about, or the Cardinals game?
Yeah, I was watching the game a little bit. I saw the pick six and I kind of went away from it. Then I saw someone in one of my friends' group chat say, "Let's go Cardinals," and I was like, "What's going on?" And that was like when it was like 21-6 when I switched to something else. And it was 21-21. I was like, man, anything can happen now. And I just saw the Cardinals' momentum and movement was just like pretty high. So, that was a big win for them.
When you've been chasing for 2 months or needing help for 2 months and then it flips like that and now you control everything, how does the mentality change, or how do the conversations in the locker room change, if at all?
I don't think the mentality changed. I think we've always tried to control it from the best we can and dealt with our losses and our growing moments the way we can. So, we kind of know what it feels like to be on their side, and they kind of know what it feels like to be on our side. And, there's always beauty in trying to get better and learning from your mistakes. I know there's stuff that they wish they could get back, but from over here, we understand what it feels like, when them odds turn against you. So, it is what it is. It's the price of the game.
How do you guys balance understanding what's all on the line with this game against the Commanders with not overthinking it and just getting out there and playing good football?
It should really just be the same. Really, if you think about from week one, you playing for the division, you playing for playoff hopes, you're playing for Super Bowl hopes. So I really don't think anything has changed. We're playing for the same thing we've been playing since week one. So mentality or anything else should not be differently. At least for me, I'm treating this the same game as I would treat the Rams when we played the Seahawks. It's all fighting for the division, but now that, we might have the lead or whatever it may be, it doesn't change that we need to go out here and get a division win.
Honestly, I was not watching. I was spending time with family, but when the game was over, a couple of the guys texted the group, and that's the way I found out.
How was the group text? Was it excitement?
No, it was more like, let's lock in. Let's lock in. Now everything that we always want is in front of us, so we got to go handle our business and lock in.
What have these past few weeks been like, going back to Buffalo week?
Yeah.
Just kind of the ups and downs, and here you are, final week, you control your own destiny.
Ebb and flow is what we call it. I think it's all a part of the game, right? Especially later on in the year, you're going to have some of those ebb and flow games like we had in Buffalo and whatnot, but to be standing where we want to be and have the opportunity to win the division, we're thankful.
All eyes will be on the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday in FedEx Field as they look to cap off the season with the franchise's 22nd NFC East title. All smiles, though, at the Star this week, right? We have that at stake for the Cowboys, and they've also got a couple of Pro Bowlers. That is up next right here on Cowboys Rewind.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. And by SWBC Mortgage. Join the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit swbcmortgage.com to find a pro today. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The biggest achievement for any NFL football player, well, that's to win a Super Bowl, right? Well, the second is to have their name on the Pro Bowl roster. The Cowboys have landed 7 guys on the NFC Pro Bowl roster this year. Dak Prescott's making his first since 2018. Zach Martin, was named to his 9th Pro Bowl. CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons made it for the 3rd time, and Brian Anger is headed back for his 2nd. Those guys, of course, not new to it. They're true to it, but Brandon Aubrey and Deron Bland are also among the list, making the Pro Bowl for the first time after setting NFL records this season.
I mean, it feels good, but I ain't really, me. I'm not really thinking about it. Still got a season to go on, so not really thinking about it too much.
Tell us about when Coach McCarthy acknowledged you and the other Pro Bowlers in front of the rest of the team. What was that like?
It felt good just to be recognized with other great guys on this team, just be recognized in general, just as a guy, just be in his position in the league. So it's been good.
I know for you it's big to be a testimony for kids back home, and how important is it to be able to for them to look at you and see, you go from your upbringing to being a late round pick to being a Pro Bowler and a record setter in the NFL?
It means everything, It just shows like the kids back home, like no matter what we go through, we still could have that mindset. Just so you can make it, so and do what you think you can do. So.
I was excited, honored, just honored. It's a big honor, and obviously couldn't have done it without the guys next to me.
I mean, when you were making this decision to pursue football, did you ever think that this was a possibility to be a Pro Bowler?
It's everyone's goal as a professional athlete to reach the highest level, and so when I started, maybe didn't verbalize it, but obviously that's the end goal in mind.
And who was the first person that you told?
I'd be my wife.
Did she say that she deserves maybe a little bit of credit for it?
Absolutely, and she does. She's been very supportive of me through the whole journey, and obviously wouldn't be here without her.
Who have you leaned on a lot in the locker room and with this team throughout kind of your journey?
Yeah, it's Brian and Trent, hands down. They've showed me the ropes. They've helped me smooth out some of the mistakes that I made in practice and made sure I didn't make them on game day.
Have there been any points in your career where you didn't think that this would be a possibility?
Yeah, so early on, going to combine events and workouts and not getting the opportunity, being told you have the talent but you don't have the film, so we can't give you the opportunity. It just felt like I was beating my head into the wall until the USFL came into existence and gave me that opportunity.
When did you feel like you could do it? When was that turning point?
That's the first. As soon as I got picked up by the Stallions, I knew that I have the ability. Just got to go out there and perform, and if I keep showing off long enough, then somebody's gonna give me a chance.
Brandon Aubrey coming from the USFL, now making history his rookie season, hitting 35 straight field goals, including a perfect 9 of 9 from 50 yards or more. He's been one of the most consistent players for this Cowboys this season. Another steady guy over the course of 10 seasons, though, has been Zach Martin. This Pro Bowl will make it his 9th and make him one of 6 players in franchise history to make 9 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge honor to be, be a part of that, and I definitely don't take it for granted each year. But like I kind of say every year, right? We got bigger things on the horizon, so it's a huge honor. But we got some bigger things ahead of us.
But when you think of Cowboys history, though, there's only 3 or 4 guys that have more than you now. When you think of the Nick Lilly, Witten, Larry Allen, you tied Larry, I think.
Yeah.
Like.
No, I mean, shoot, it's very cool, and at some point, I'll sit back and kind of think about some of the things that I've accomplished, but try to keep a level head this time of year and get ready to go down the stretch.
That moment though that Mike made the announcement in the group, and there are a lot of guys this is their first time.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, shoot, we had more guys in this locker room that are deserving too. So. It's a great honor and something for guys to work towards, but it was cool to be a part of that group on this team.
What does it say about this team to have 2 pretty much in each level, an offense, defense, special teams? That's 7 total. What does it say about the complementary football that you guys have been trying?
Yeah, it's something that's something we wanted to do from the beginning of the year, and that's kind of been the story of our year. We've played really good football. We've played great complementary football. Taking care of the ball, taking it away, and then obviously Brandon and Brian and Trent and those guys are always doing their thing. So it's pretty cool to see each level get recognized.
Zach Martin, of course, locked in like the rest of this team. They have their eyes on the prize, and the Dallas Cowboys franchise has their eyes on the prize as well. They're making some roster moves to make sure of that. We got that right next up here on Cowboys Rewind. Cal Yeomans joins the set.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys welcome in some new additions and a couple of old friends to the practice squad this week. Wide receiver Racy McMath. You had running back Sir Roderick Thompson and linebacker Damian Wilson. But the oldest of friends, right? That's La'el Collins. With the recent Tyler Smith injury tearing his plantar fascia and the injury bug the offensive lines face this season, it doesn't hurt to have an extra insurance heading into the playoffs, especially with the unique position the Cowboys are already in to possibly make a run. Collins actually spoke with the media for the first time this week. Here's what he had to say.
Oh, it's amazing. It feels great. You know, could have never even dreamed of it, you know, but I'm super excited and just looking forward to this opportunity to just be a great leader, be whatever they need me to be here.
Can you talk about the reception you got from your teammates? And Zach Martin mentioned that he actually came for your workout.
It was, you know, and I think that's one of the most underrated things, you know, the support, you know, my guys. You know, the moment I walked in the building, it just felt like I was just right back at home. Felt like I didn't even leave. And it was special, you know, and I really embraced that. You know, I really have embraced that, and I don't take it for granted.
Who reached out first, them or you, to get back here?
They reached out. Will called me, and we had a conversation, and, you know, I just told him, hey, let's make it happen. Let's go win this thing, you know.
Well, it's only right to bring in K-Easy, as I like to call him, kicking it with Kyle to break down what this move means for the Cowboys. Now, La'el, of course, spent 7 seasons with the Cowboys, spent a stint with the Bengals, but battled a knee injury.
Yeah.
He did confirm yesterday, well, earlier this week, he said that, you know, I'm feeling my best that I've ever felt. What does this move mean, and do you see him at least taking a step and making an impact for this team in the playoffs?
Well, toward the end of an NFL season, the most sought after, the most seeking position out there is the offensive line. I mean, that's just how it goes because teams across the NFL need offensive linemen. And La'el Collins, being a familiar face, one, somebody who was beloved in the locker room during his time in Dallas, is a second big factor there. He has a ton of trust with Dak Prescott and some of the guys that still remain on this Cowboys team. But also, he's gotten some time to rest. You mentioned the injuries. That was a thing that really plagued him toward the end of his Cowboys tenure, was injuries, keeping him off the field and just not really playing up to the caliber that he was as a starter initially. So lots of reasons that this could work. Are we really going to see him going into the postseason? Probably not. Yeah. It would probably take either a specific formation or injuries in front, and hopefully neither one of those are really needed in playoff time, but he's there just in case. Yeah. And I think that's really the thought process here. Bring back a familiar face that could help you in a time of need.
And how much does it help as far as him being able to play tackle and guard? The versatility obviously is needed for this offensive line.
Well, I think he'll probably be better at the tackle position, but he can play both tackle spots. He can play left tackle, play right tackle, and if that's the case, then it allows you to have extra guys behind Chuma Edoga, behind Awesome Richards as a rookie, and he's a veteran that brings in that mentality and like I talked about, the trust within the locker room. So there's a lot of things that La'el could bring to the table. They bring in a couple other faces as well. Kind of a practice squad refresh going into the playoffs.
I know Dak Prescott was, of course, all smiles when talking about La'el Collins and seeing him in the locker room, but I know this team's all smiles with what's at stake on Sunday against Washington. Up next, we're talking Cowboys in Washington right here on Cowboys Rewind. The Dallas Cowboys have no room for error on Sunday on both sides of the ball. They're back on the road, heading to Washington, looking to end and silence the narrative amongst their struggles on the road. And there's no doubt about the difference, of course, between the Cowboys' play on the road and at home. In the last 3 weeks, the Cowboys' point differential is -22, the worst by any team in playoff position in both the AFC and NFC. In a way, for the Cowboys to really turn that around is to get out and get to an early start. The Talking Cowboys and Players Lounge crew broke down the importance of the Cowboys' fast start and the defense setting the tone if they want to make a statement in Washington.
I think it's important to get off to a hot start in this game more than any other game that we've ever had, or that we've had this year, that the Cowboys have had this year. And it throws me back to 2021 on the road at Philadelphia. You remember this game? You might remember this game. You made the trip up there, Lincoln Financial. Philadelphia wasn't really in contention. The Cowboys had seeding purposes that they could win, and they had already locked up the division, but they had a chance to go and help improve their playoff scenario. What they did is they blew out Philadelphia 51-26. Dak Prescott threw for 5 touchdowns. He broke NFL record or franchise record that day for touchdown passes. Basically came out and just put it on them pretty early and often. They were up 30-17 at halftime. Okay. That's what I would hope happens this week. I hope it's that same mentality of, hey, you've got something to do. Doesn't matter what that other team is doing on the opposite side. Do what you have to do to get up early and take care of business.
Sam Howell's coming out playing for his life, though, man. He's trying to put out some good tape.
He is.
Gardner Minshew was coming out for his life that day. Jalen Hurts wasn't playing. Bieniemy? He wants to try and throw it around a little bit.
I think so.
They don't have anybody to block. They can't block for anybody. They're the most sacked team in the league for a reason.
I get it.
He also throws the more.
You don't think Bieniemy's trying to throw his head in there and his hand in the pot for head coach?
I'd say the flip side of it, though, also, I kind of wrote up a little bit about this for today on The Athletic. There could be a huge game for Micah Parsons in terms of right now he's like, if the season ended today, I think Myles Garrett gets Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But if you get Micah Parsons to have one of those games, kind of like Aiden Hutchinson just had, the 3 sacks, maybe he gets it because of that. 5 sacks,
That would be fun.
That's
5-sack day for Micah.
You can't go into it like it's a preseason game. Like, you know how just the mindset is different going into it. Just you don't warm up as much. You going out there usually doing all your defensive back drills, getting ready. You might skip a few of those if it's preseason mode. You can't get into that versus the Commanders right here. We all understand, they're mailing it in. They've been mailing it in since they traded half of their defense away. So we understand what their players' mindset is. But as a guy going out there, you just can't have that mindset to where we're going to cakewalk these dudes, because even if you go out there half stepping, you may get hurt. So you got to go out there full tilt, and the coaches will have a good barometer of where the players are during the week.
That would tick me off if I saw. For anybody, and I think who would that be an indictment on? It'd have to be leadership, because if you don't know what you're playing for, if you're going to come out there and just roll your helmet out there, we're going to get this dub, and then you end up losing. That's the wrong way. We talk about the narratives throughout the season. If that's the case, if that's what we're talking about Monday, Cowboys lose in D.C., and now instead of having the 2 games at home or potentially having 2 games at home, you're now on the road playing. Come on, man.
We've seen it happen before.
Yes, we have.
We've seen it happen.
But for home field advantage, for the number 2 spot over being, come on now. That's crazy if that happens.
I just came from the locker room. Posed that question to Stephon Gilmore. Do you need to say anything? As a veteran, guys already know. No, we understand, we know. So talk to him. I talked to Jake Ferguson. I talked to Osa Digizua. Talked to J-Ron Kearse. They understand Tony Pollard. They get it. They know what's in front of them. And just in some ways, the sure ability to just see it through, that you were chasing Philadelphia. Now here you are with the ability to get it done. Respect, and I asked JK about the receiving core. He's like, look, this is a good receiving core we face. These 3 guys are, they're something to, don't play around with it, but they get it.
There's no doubt that the message was understood between this team earlier this week, throughout the week actually, in the Star. But now they've got to go out there and seal the deal in Washington. We're right here, back on Cowboys Rewind, to wrap things up. One last ride for the Dallas Cowboys before playoff football, and they're looking to ride in on a good note. The boys in Washington on Sunday, an NFC East title on the line, the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs on the line, and a chance to silence all doubts heading into the playoffs and to do it on the road would just be the icing on the cake. One of the major concerns, the run game. The Cowboys have gone 3 straight weeks rushing under 100 yards for the first time since 2013. But it's not like they don't have the ability to do it, right? During weeks 10 through 14, they averaged 129.8 yards a game. Well, if there's any time to get the run game going, it's this Sunday. In the last meeting, the Cowboys had success on the ground with Tony Pollard, of course. He averaged 6.1 yards a carry. Now he's only 65 yards away from breaking his 1,000-yard mark. In Washington, sitting near the bottom of the league in run defense, what better time to do it and get the run game going? The Cowboys out in Washington in FedEx Field, 3:25 kickoff. We'll see you there, Cowboys Nation.
Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by SWBC Mortgage. Join the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit swbcmortgage.com to find a pro today.